Blake's Buzz Live. Buzz, 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 buzz. It's Blake's Buzz Live. Buzz, 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 buzz. It's Blake's Buzz Live. More, hate less, read comics. It's Blake's Buzz Live.
Buzz, buzz, babies.
Hey, buzz babies, how is everybody doing tonight? It's New Comic Book Day. It's Wednesday, hump day. We're a little closer to Friday, a little closer to that weekend, a little closer to a nice relaxing time that we can all, I don't know what you guys do in your free time. I stare mindlessly into one screen or another, or read that ridiculous backlog that I have built up. As you can see, all these books piled up behind me, and I got to find time to read these damn things. Speaking of books, I have a really cool book to talk about tonight, and a really, really great creator who's been on the show a couple times. It's been a minute though, and I am so stoked to catch up. This guy has done a lot of really great books. He's worked on Dust Pirates. He's done the Ninja Turtles. He's done just awesome stuff. He's so freaking talented, and he's got a new book on Zoop, Porkchop Robot Killer. It's going to blow your goddamn minds, ladies and gentlemen. I got Mr. Tony Gregori in the house. Welcome back, sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Blake. It's good to see you again. It's been a while.
It's good to see you, man. I'm so stoked that it's been I didn't realize how long it's been since I think, what was it? Was it
probably Dust Pirates?
Dust Pirates or the what's the Star book? Starweed. Yeah, that might have been the last one too. One of them.
I think Dust Pirates was it was around the same time.
It was
back, summer, 2 summers ago.
Damn, man.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
It's weird. Like it's going on over 2 years now. Been doing this. Everything runs together. It gets a little confusing, but
what the fuck is time, right?
Right, yeah, it's a flat circle, man. But I'm so stoked to catch up with you, and I'm even more excited to talk about Porkchop Robot Killer. This is so cool. You're no stranger to crowdfunding. You've been around this scene a lot before, but you're solo now. You are the writer, the colorist, the letterer, the designer. You're just doing everything. And as we'll see in a moment when I pull up the page, the book is looking crispy gorgeous, man. So like what made this what made this want to happen? Like, has this been something you've been working on for a while, like on the back burner while you were doing other stuff with other people? Like, where'd this come from?
Yeah, pretty much.
Nice.
I started in 2018. I started the idea.
Okay.
It originated. I wanted to do like an homage to my grandfather, because his nickname was Porkchop.
Nice.
He was like a little Italian immigrant, came over in 1939 with my grandmother and my father, who was a pregnant. My grandmother was pregnant with my father, and he came over, and he was like 5'6", like 230 pounds. It's that, shaped like a keg of beer, and and he was a iron worker, a steel worker, and he's the classic American story of that generation. Escaped fascism and started a life. So I wanted to do something to honor him. And originally I was going to do like a bio comic about his life, about like coming to the States and all that sort of stuff. But either, they had already passed, and a lot of my family that was close to them had passed, or I wasn't in touch with them. So like it was impossible to do the level of research.
Okay.
But I still wanted to do something. And at the time I was like just doodling these little robots in my sketchbook. Like when I was hanging out the laundromat, while I'm doing my laundry, I'm just like making a robot out of like a washer and dryer and like parts from a car outside, and just like thinking of stuff like that. And then all of it just popped in my head to like, hey, how about it's like this character called Porkchop going through like this post-apocalyptic like robot dystopia, smashing all these robots. And originally it was just going to be a guy, but I'm like, that's stupid. Why am I calling the guy Porkchop? Like, let's make him a fucking pig and have it be really fun. And then that's how it kind of was born, and so I did it. I still had a Patreon at the time, and I had drawn like the first 12 pages or so, and I would put them up on my Patreon.
Mhm.
And then unfortunately in October of 2018, my father passed away. So I shuttered my Patreon, and I took some months to like deal with all the ramifications of his loss and everything like that. And then I still had more pages that I had drawn that I had not posted, because I had drawn a bunch of it. I was kind of posting them a little bit at a time. I had like the first 20 pages drawn. And then once I kind of got back to work and I developed the worst dudes, the Aubrey, and developed Dust Pirates, the Bob and Kevin around that time as well. But I was also drawing these pages for Porkchop every once in a while, like once a week or whenever I had free time, kind of like a cool down,
Yeah.
And I really liked them. I thought they had good energy, like because they're cool down. So I was just whipping them out real quick, and I was thinking like, damn, man, I'm like, this may be how I should be working most of the time. It's just like really like loose, but I don't know. Maybe it's just because I was doing other stuff. And anyway, I'm rambling. So I kept drawing it, and now at about a year ago, I looked back and I had about 40 pages drawn, and I had nothing to do with it. I didn't know if I was just going to sit on this thing or do a Patreon again or pitch it. It didn't seem like a book that a publisher would want to take a chance on, like coming from me. Like if I was a bigger name creator, they probably would leap at the chance. But for me, it's not. No one's going to give me a budget to do that. So, and I couldn't really do a Kickstarter because like all the logistics and administrative stuff is just too much for me to handle. Like, and having to draw pages, because I'm also like drawing 2 other projects right now on top of like coloring Porkchop. And then Zoop came out, and when Zoop came around, I saw what they did with like the Paul Leon book and Jason Copeland's book and Nick Patera's book. I saw like all the success that those books had. I'm like, well, and they seem viable, and they handle all like a lot of the administrative stuff for the creators. So, and they're great partners. They're great guys to work with. So I reached out to them, and they were interested, and that's how it kind of came about.
Nice.
So yeah. So I've been coloring it right now. I'm coloring it as we speak. Like I took a break to talk to you, but
and I appreciate it.
Hey, anything for you, Blake. It's great. It's great to see your come up.
I
at the bottom, and now you're here.
Stop it. No, I appreciate it. But no, it's like I told you in the green room, as much as things change and get bigger and better, like crowdfunding was always a big deal for Blake's Buzz, and it's going to continue to be that. And crowdfunding is like you mentioned, you and Bob and Kevin, Jason Copeland, and like and Nick Patera, like those guys were all on my show too, hyping their Zoop campaigns, a while back. And these are big names in the crowdfunding scene, generating big, like what Nick Patera did over 200K or something for his, for Axe Wielder John, and so these are viable publication means, and I like Zoop a lot as well. They've always impressed me just because it impressed the shit out of me when they hit me up every now and then, and they're like, hey, we got this cool campaign, would you want to cover it, would you want to have them on the show? And it's like, these 2 guys that run Zoop are reaching out doing PR, right? And it's like, Kickstarter's never going to do that, and they're too big. They're too big for that too. But
they don't care.
Yeah,
they don't. Well, because I was explaining to one of my friends who wasn't familiar with the concept. They had no idea what Zoop was, and I was like, well, let's think about Kickstarter, but if they just did comics, like, you're not going to go on Zoop, and you're not going to like crowdfund yogurt or whatever, whatever the other, Kickstarter has everything on it, and like you said, they're a huge corporation. They don't care. Yeah. If your book succeeds or not, really, like. They get their percentage, and it's you've done a lot of Kickstarter campaigns too, and so it falls on you guys, right? To like, you have to source your printers, and you have to find all that, whereas like Zoop will put packages and tiers and stuff together for you, and bring those elements to you, and it makes that when I mentioned like you being like the sole creator on this, it takes some of that weight off of your shoulders to focus more on creation and dealing with weirdos like me to do your promotion, right? And so it's definitely a very helpful platform. And
you know, they do, they take risks, they publish cool stuff. They seem to, they're good people. Everybody I've talked to like just loves working for them, and they're growing too. Like they're getting bigger and generating good numbers, and yeah, it's a cool platform, and I'm glad to see Porkchop Robot Killer and you like have found a good home there, it seems. And you know, I'm stoked to like watch this campaign, see it grow. And you guys already have like a stretch goal set up where you're going to maybe sneak some pictures of the, or some pages of the second issue. And so it sounds like this, you know, you're developing a relationship with them that's going to, you know, hopefully continue into the future of this book, which is cool.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, hopefully the campaign's successful. I don't think, like, if it's not, they're not gonna want to fuck with me anymore. Probably. I wouldn't blame them. Like,
you're having a good day. You're a third of the way there on day one, man. That's a good start. And you know how it's gonna be though. It's, you know, you're gonna have a few good days and then a bunch of nothing, and then towards the end, you know, it'll start popping off again. But
yeah, I know the lulls. You know how the campaigns go.
The fun.
I definitely have like. Yeah, I definitely we have some ideas. I have some ideas about how to like kind of spruce things up in the middle of the campaign.
Nice.
Like, for example, the two artists are doing variants, Ramon Villalobos and Brian Level, friends of mine.
Yeah.
They haven't started their covers yet. I told them to hold off until the campaign starts, but Ramon's going to start his soon. So like in a couple of weeks, I'll probably be able to tease like some pencils for the cover.
Oh, nice. You can like generate some excitement like mid-campaign with that.
Yeah.
Two good friends to have in your back pocket. Like what?
Yeah.
Like when I saw those names on the variants, I was like, damn, Tony's going big. Like, you know, I was like, that's awesome. But you deserve to go big, man. I've watched your career since I got to know you a couple years ago, man, and I've seen you do some really, really cool stuff, and seeing you take on like the Ninja Turtles and you know, the Worst Dudes and stuff, like with Dark Horse, and you know, you did some Rick and Morty stuff, and so
I did some covers,
but you're like it's cool seeing like other people take notice of you and watching your audience grow as well, because you work damn hard, man, and you're good people, and so it's nice. It's nice to see when the good dudes get a win, right? You know, it's sometimes it feels like it doesn't happen enough, especially in comics, right? It's there's a bunch of undeserving assholes that get the world given to them, and well, I mean, that's anywhere, not just comics.
That's life. That's life.
The
way the world works, man.
The rich get richer and the talented people stay hungry, right? No.
Well, you know, we just got to prop each other up, you know.
That's true. That's true. And that's one of the beautiful things about crowdfunding is it's even as it gets like more and more popular and the scene gets a little more saturated and you know, like even right now, like some campaigns are funding slower than others, and it's a busy market now, but it never really feels like a competition. It just feels like a really, really crazy family reunion, and everybody's like in line for a plate of food at the buffet or something, right? And it's just like you're all gonna get to eat, right? Just some people have to wait a little longer. Man, I don't know. That's a good analogy. I'm proud of myself for that.
We're all waiting at the trough like little piggies, like little pork chops, waiting for our our bit of slop.
I really the backstory for Porkchop Robot Killer, because you talk a little bit about that on the Zoop page, that it's like a close project to you, but that's so interesting that it was going to be like a bio comic, right? Of like your the journey of your family and how it began and how you put that spin on
it. Turned it into like a farce. No.
But it's also smart too, because you know your art, your style, like everything about these pages that I've seen is very, very, very much Tony Gregori, and it's got that signature look that your fans can pick out of a lineup, right? And it's wild in the details that you choose to spend time on, and I don't know, man, your art is busy without but it like a sensible busy, like everything has a purpose, and it's just like, I don't know, it's like an explosion that your eyes like just want to take in, and you can't, however bright or chaotic it is, like you can't squint, you have to like keep your eyes open and focus on everything, and it's just like your art's explosive, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Long story short, I'm gushing because you're just damn good, sir. But it just feels like, and I think a lot of it is because of how important this project is to you, and it's very, very yours, you know, and you're the only creator, and you're writing and telling the story and doing the scripts and everything. But it just really, I don't know, man. These pages just really sing, and they really seem to flow, and the colors, the colors that you've shown off on social media and stuff, the finished pages, like I question the like mental stability of people that look at these pages and be like, hey, it's not for me. Like, cause it's like, it's everything that's fun and crazy about comics. And like you said, it's just this crazy little pig guy, and he's fighting these monsters, or these robotic monsters, and he's the artificial intelligence, which is very pertinent now, right? Because
it kind of ended up that way.
Yeah,
that wasn't the intent. I wasn't like trying to make some sort of like. It was definitely like that was in my mind, like, oh, I hate the oncoming, the encroaching AI overlords.
Yeah,
but like in 2018, that was, you know, we people were talking about it for sure, like. But it wasn't like at the forefront of the discourse like it is now.
Yeah.
So
nothing was like scrolling through the internet, like vacuuming up art samples to spit out later.
That's true. Yeah, that wasn't happening yet. I don't know if I'm sure there was some sort of Chat GPT around. But you know, it wasn't as like prevalent as it is now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that kind of was like I'm leaning into that now. But at the time, that wasn't like something that was at the forefront of my mind. But also, the story really isn't about that. I don't think at any point in the book does the term AI come up.
Oh, really?
Because the book originally I was thinking of it to be as silent as possible. Because I didn't want.
You didn't want to write.
I want to write at least as much as possible. I really just wanted to draw this pig smashing all this shit. And, the story was like secondary. No. I always felt like I like showing more than telling. So I always like that in movies and in comics. You know, the less dialogue for me, the better. Like narration works if the writer is equipped to do that, but I'm not that good of a writer. So I decided to just kind of like lean into the kookiness of it. And just like the pig, he speaks, but it's more in like oinks and grunts, and like I'll say like 2 or 3 word sentences, you know.
Nice.
He doesn't have a total control of the English language, much like myself. So and the robots are actually the most loquacious characters in the entire book. The robots.
I like how you just said you're not good at language, then drop loquacious. Like that's nice, Tony.
I played
he looked up that word just for the show, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm looking at it right now on my phone. I'll look at my reading glasses.
You're looking up synonyms while we're talking live. Oh man, I've been
no,
there.
But yeah. So the robots are actually like, and you'll meet in the first issue. You meet his sidekick Doug, who's kind of like his Alfred to his Batman.
Nice.
And he's a robot who is his only friend. Really, is a robot, ironically, and that plays into the larger plot as we go along in the story. But initially in the beginning, you meet him, and he's the most verbose character. He's like speaking eloquently to the pig, and you know, asking him questions about his day and shit like that. And the pig's just like, you know, fucking wrong. You know, I won't say what he says. You have to read it, but you know, he brushes him aside with like his grunts and his oinks and his squeaks or whatever. So he's actually like the funnest character to draw in a lot of ways, because he's like a laptop for a head, and he's got like rolling wheels for feet, and you'll see in the pages to come. But
where do you come up with these character designs? Like, because it, especially when you're the one, when everything's coming from your mind and you don't have like someone else's script to even if they give you a lot of freedom, which I know a lot of your creative partners have done, right? But like, where do some of these like design inspirations come from? Do you ever do like manga or anime or like weird cartoons and shit? Or are you just that brilliant and you're like, I saw it in a dream, man? It's like just something like that.
Well, let me I'll explain to you how I designed the Ninja Turtles.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I mean, definitely grew up on cartoons for sure, you know, but I'm you know, I'll be 47 this year. So I grew up on like Silverhawks and Thundercats, and I was a Looney Tunes kid, and things like that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Pee-wee's Playhouse, R.I.P. Paul Rubens.
R.I.P., yeah, man.
But yeah, I grew up on those sorts of cartoons. I really wasn't a manga kid, and you know, back then, you really had to look for it if you were to find something like that. In like the mid '80s, like there wasn't, you couldn't just like go and like a 9-year-old kid couldn't just go like find a manga or watch an anime somewhere. You know,
I gotcha.
Like, so it was different. And you know, when I got to be older, when I was like late teens, I watched some of the VHS tapes of like Vampire Hunter D and Guyver and stuff like that.
Nice.
And Akira, obviously, you know, and I saw all that stuff and I thought it was cool. But I just, you know, for me, something with that art, like a lot of it looks samey. Like it's beautiful. A lot of it's beautiful. But what I like in art and like cartooning is different styles. Like you were talking about people seeing my work and for better or worse saying, oh, that's Tony Gregori. And if I look at like Nick Dragata, I go, that's Nick Dragata, or that's Ramon Villalobos, or you know, that's DWJ, or you know what I mean? Like you know whose it is by the style. That's what I like.
Okay.
Because I feel like it's personal, you know.
Yeah.
And that's why I prefer, you know, traditional to digital mostly. I mean, I know Dragata works digitally, but for the most part, with digital art, to me, it starts to look samey after a while because they all are using the same brushes, with the same filters, with the same effects, and after they, you know, they start to lose their originality, and they all end up looking like the same to me.
So when you're art, I knew you were a traditional, you know, you're a traditional like pencil ink. But what do you color? Do you color like?
No, I color digitally. I use a open source program called Krita, Krita. It's a fun little program that I run on Linux. So that's what I color with. And then, you know, I'll do some like digital touch-ups and stuff. Like if I fuck up a panel or if I got to change something or whatever, I'll like either draw it traditionally, scan it and put it in digitally, or I'll just, if it's something I feel like I can draw digitally and make it look good, I'll do that.
Nice.
You know, so like even in the Porkchop pages, as I'm like going back and I'm coloring it, I'll like see something and I'm like, oh, you know what? I like to fix that, and I'll fix it digitally. You know, it's just little things, you know, nothing huge.
Is that that note, like when you are the sole creator, do you find yourself doing that a lot, like with lettering and editing and little touch ups and stuff like that? Do you
well, the
find
lettering was like
more of that?
Yeah, with lettering, I must have went through I don't know how many different fonts before I found one that I like was comfortable with.
Yeah,
you know, and I don't even know if the one I'm using right now is even the best one. It probably like professional letters will say it looks like shit, and I would debate them. But like I was originally going to hand do it, and then I had already like drawn so much of it and not hand drawn it. I just didn't want to go back and do that, so I was like, it's so much easier just to do it digitally as I'm coloring.
Yeah,
you know, like it's in Krita I can do it all. So yeah, I found a font in Krita that I'm using that, you know, it's a little unique, you know, but you know, it has to be legible. So I don't want to get too outlandish with it.
Can't get too
the
wild,
robot dialogue. Yeah, the robot dialogue I all hand letter. So all the robot dialogue that you see will be hand lettered. So.
Nice. Well, now let's bring up the page real quick. I want to say hi to some people in the chat. I've got Mr. Nottingham's David is in the house. What's up, dude? Thanks for tuning in. Coming from Australia, Ronan the Accuser. Thank you so much for tuning in. All right, let's bring up this page and look at some of this glorious art. I love this TMNT and Short Circuit meets Mad Max and an oil-soaked symphony of destruction. Did you write this?
Yes.
God, see, you are a good writer. All right, here, I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read it the Blake's Buzz way. All right, here we go. Isolated in a dystopic wasteland overrun by AI-driven robots, a lone pig is on a quest to smash them all. TMNT and Short Circuit meets Mad Max in this oil-soaked symphony of destruction as a pugilistic porker scours the dunes of old world, defending the green from the digital overlords of our future. Join Porkchop and his robot valet, Doug, on a journey to rid the world of a viral menace, or will his duty lead him to some unexpected discoveries? Welcome to Porkchop Robot Killer #1 on Zoop. Give it your money, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, please. Wow.
Yeah, let's. So the pricing, by the way, super duper fair. $5 digital, $8 physical, and then the variants are $1 more. All 3 covers for $25 for the early bird special. Even after it bumps up afterwards, it's a really fair price. I love their tip jar too. So I like a lot of people. Like if you guys, you know, if you love Tony but you're broke, or I don't know, like if you love Tony but hate comics, or if it's something weird like that, you give him $1.
Or you love comics and you hate Tony. I'll take that money. Just give me money.
Yeah. Just anything that helps. And then as always, you know, I've been talking about this lately about the original art that you can get through crowdfunding campaigns and how much cheaper it is typically than like buying it from an art dealer or at a con or on eBay or, you know, stuff like that. And as someone who owns a Tony Gregori piece, I have this.
You own the Ninja Turtles Akira,
I sure
right?
as fuck do, baby.
Yeah.
I had for the Dust Pirates, I paid to have Tony commission a piece, and man, I have never I met Neil Adams and had him draw Superman and Wonder Woman for me forever ago. Rest in peace. When he came to Kansas City a while back and at a shop, but you know, I've never like really commissioned something, and I remember like when Bob sent out those Kickstarter updates, they're like, hey, you guys that have original art, you got to tell us what you want Tony to draw. And I was like sweating over it, man. I was like, oh my God, what do I want? And I had so many ideas, and like you posted samples, and we'll see a couple of them. Like there's one right here of like of the Daredevil and Mary, and like and so I just like I couldn't decide. You did a really cool Moon Knight, and I was like, what do I want him to draw? And I was getting into manga, and I was reading Akira, and Akira was just rocking my whole I just gotten the box set of like the hardcovers, and it clicked, and it was like Michelangelo walking to the turtle van like the Akira cover, and it was one of the coolest things, and like I remember I still feel cool about it because like when Tony shared it online, and I was like fuck, that's mine, and like all these people were like sharing it, and like this is the coolest thing I've ever seen, and like a couple comic book colorists like took it and like digitized it and colored it and reposted it, and they were like, and it was just awesome, and I was like, oh my God, that's in my house, like it's crazy, it's mine, it's like no one else has that but me. But anyways, so I cannot recommend like some of these original art tiers enough, and as we're gonna see the pricing again, like a 9x12 for 100, 150 for color, the 11x17 for 250. That's what I got, and it's, I mean, like Tony will take advantage of the page. Like he spends a lot of time on these. He puts a lot of care and love into these. You know, I don't ask him for weird shit. He probably won't like that. But yeah, I mean, like, you know, basic. Well, I mean, you get a little weird, but not like
get a little weird.
but I mean, for real, like these will make your collection better. They will make your walls look better, and the pricing is fair, and he just delivers. He just knows, he understands the assignment, basically, is what I'm trying to say.
That's half the battle, you know?
Yeah, right. Yeah. But yeah, $350 for full color. And then like some of these pages from like $300 to $150 or so. Like all this pricing is like really fair. And the art is just absolutely like every corner is full of line work and details and hatch marks, and just something for your eyes to fall in love with. And so like, for real, like get some Tony art. I mean, I know like he wants to sell the book and stuff, and for other reasons, but you if you are a good nerd, you love indie comics and you love cool art, like your collection will be better having an original Gregori piece in it. I promise you. And even people that aren't that into comics will see it and be like, damn, like, because I like, so many people have seen my Akira piece, like, because none of my real life friends like read comics, but everybody knows the Ninja Turtles, right? And even if they don't get the Akira homage, and I'll like show them like the cover and like what it's based on, they'll be like, oh, that's cool. But like, so many of my friends have just been like, dude, that's fucking gnarly, and I'm like, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is, baby. So yeah, anyways, I can't recommend getting some of this original art enough. It's so vibrant. And
wonderful.
wonderful.
Look at that! Someone grabbed some pages.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Look at that. I'll take credit for that. No. They did it just now. But yeah, it's so it's a 32 page full color comic. Now you've in here you talk about, you know, as a stretch goal, leaking some pages of issue 2. What is, do you have a duration set in mind for this series, like a max issue count? Like, what are you thinking?
4.
Okay.
4 ideally, but like I could probably wrap it up in 3.
Okay.
If I had to, you know, if you know, 32 pages for each issue.
Yeah. And then, I mean, three or four, that'll make like a nice trade afterward too, maybe.
Yeah.
Definitely
the ending.
Squeeze that rock for the juice, baby.
For sure. Well, also, like, I I would love to have the room to tell the story fully. Like, you never want to like. But also, it's not like there's definitely an ending in sight, and I have it all plotted out.
Nice.
The second issue is written as much as I write, and like half of it is drawn. So
wow,
yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah,
so are you like you're obviously fine? Well, I guess because you said you've been working on this for years. So is it tricky juggling like this like personal creator owned project with other stuff you're doing, or are you do you feel good about like making time? Like how does that stuff work?
I mean, it's definitely time management is the thing.
Yeah.
And
I'm terrible about that. So that's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
I'm trying to learn.
Yeah. With this right now, I'm coloring it because I just want to wrap it up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also drawing a original graphic novel with David Crispino. So I'm like,
I heard you guys were doing something.
Yeah.
It was a little holiday action.
Holiday special. I'm 90 pages into that.
Wow.
That's going to be 120 at the end of that. And then I'm working on another project that I'm doing like 5 pages here or there of.
Okay.
And I've picked up some cover gigs, like I did some Rick and Morty covers, and some freelance stuff here and there.
Nice.
But right now, I'm just focusing on coloring this just to wrap it up, so I get it out to everybody.
Nice.
Hopefully, God willing, if the campaign's successful, So.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about God, but Blake's buzz.
Whatever.
Successful.
Blake willing.
No, man.
I'll take the Blake bump. Give me the Blake bump. God doesn't have anything to do with it.
No, I have full faith in this project, man. I think you're going to be fine. Even if it slows down a little bit, I think you're going to be in a good place. Like I said, you're having a great day one. I'm excited to see how your first week goes, honestly. And you're adored, dude. You really are. A lot of people in this industry like you a lot, especially like on the creative side, people that have worked with you. So you've got a lot of people in your corner, a lot of people sharing this, a lot of people excited about this. That's your reputation precedes itself, and I think that's going to help a lot too. And so I think you're going to be just fine. And I think fans of you are going to be eating good. And I think I hope a lot of new people get to experience the Tony Gregori awesomeness and see what they've been missing. Right. Cause I think you're going to be good. You're going to be good. Charlie, like what Charlie Stickney told me, even if you're not good, lie about it. It's everything's always great. The campaign's always going to fund. If people cancel pledges or whatever, you ignore it. You don't talk about the image that you put out is nothing could be going better for this campaign, and everything's going swimmingly. And I totally get that, right? Because
sure.
people, like I had to learn that when I started getting a platform, and more people started paying attention to me. Like people want to hear about you talk about comics. They don't want to hear you be a little sad boy piss baby online, and so but manifest that, but everything's going to be good, baby. You're going to get it. You're going to get those stretch goals. We're going to get to see these new pages. We're going to get to see these new variants. You're going to do it. You're going to do it, baby. I believe in you. And look at these pages, ladies and gentlemen. Like, how can you see these pages and not want this and B, just not want like A, B, C, D through Z. How can you not want this gorgeous comic? Like, I love your coloring is so good. And like these letters, these designs, the sound effects, like, I mean, dude, I feel bad for like your co-creators. Cause like now you've shown the world that you can just do it all yourself. So you're like, how are people going to trick you to work with them now that you're like, you're like, I'm like Jeff Lemire and Matt Kent. I just do it all by myself.
No, definitely not. I wish. I'm lucky I've worked with some great folks. So I do like doing my own thing. It's fun, but I also like collaborating with people.
Yeah. So, like you mentioned, like you and David do great stuff together. And I'm,
yep.
I think I'm going to work on that campaign with David. Actually, I won't say anything else, but David and I have had some meetings and I'm excited about it. And,
this is the first I've heard of this.
Yeah. He said you were paying for it. So again, make sure we get some stretch goals for this comic.
Yeah, well,
ladies
this
and
campaign
gentlemen.
doesn't fund. You ain't getting shit, dog.
But no, yeah, he's we a couple months ago we had a meeting to talk, and he was one of those people who told me I didn't charge enough money, and I was like, dude, I'm not there, you know, like I don't have some big PR firm, you know. I'm just trying to eat and not ever go back to work, and so like I'm not trying to like squeeze everybody for all the money they got. I'm just trying to like keep the buzz alive. But yeah, it's anyways, we're talking about way in the future, but I am stoked for that holiday special regardless, because I still remember reading that book and the first time when I interviewed you guys together, and I fell in love with it, and I'm so when I heard you guys were going back to the property, and not just for like a one shot, but like an original graphic novel, you know, holiday version. And when David was kind of telling me what was, yeah, anyways, long story short, ladies and gentlemen, Tony's got some cool stuff coming up even after this campaign, and Dust Pirates is heading to the direct market as well. Keenspot's gonna publish and re-release Dust Pirates, so that's very cool. So you've got, and you know, like you said, you're working on some other stuff that you can't talk about yet, but it's always good to know when the good ones have the cards up their sleeve, right? And you know, even people always tell me that, they're like, well, sorry, Blake, I can't talk about this, but yeah, we're working on stuff. And it's good to know you got stuff in the pipeline, and we got good things to look forward to. And then here's some of these awesome prints you've been doing. And a lot of these you've posted on social media. I almost thought, and I think I DM'd you a while back to ask, I almost thought you were getting hired at Marvel or DC or something, because you were just doing a lot of big two property. I guess there were like a lot of commissions like people were asking for maybe, but it was just, it was because I know you're very, very indie comics, and you're not like, you're not one of those guys who's like desperate to get into the big two, right? You're like, you want to do your own thing, create your own stuff, and work with good people. And so it was interesting seeing you like draw all these big properties, and you draw them like, so like Daredevil, the Hawkeye, this DC Marvel mashup here. Like you're so damn good. Oh my God, it's ridiculous. But so are these prints are these available as like add-ons, or are these just like, are you guys just showing off art here?
No, there's print tiers.
Oh, nice.
Print tier where you can get the book and 3 prints for $35.
Oh wow! And these are what size are the prints?
11 by 17.
Damn, that's so cheap.
Yeah,
you guys should charge more.
You know, that's
I guess it's too late now.
You know, the guys at Zoop are real helpful in like figuring out what everything should be and what they thought everything should be, and we kind of work together on coming to the tiers.
Nice.
Yeah. So you know, we feel like it's fair.
No,
like,
I think it's.
I know where I know my place. You know, like like you said, I'm an indie guy, and I never wanted to go work for a big two. And it's not like I wouldn't want to. Who wouldn't want to? Like, I'd love to draw a Marvel or DC book someday, but no one's asking me to, and you know, so it is what it is, you know. Yeah. So I'm not against it though. Well, but you know,
they make mistakes like, too, and not hiring you is probably one of them. Like,
I mean, you know, I also haven't put that much energy into getting those jobs, like you said. So like, I can't. You know, if I think about it, I do think about it sometimes, and I think like, why haven't I, or why have I even tried? Have I even put the effort forth to even attempt that? And I don't think I have, because I know people who have, and they've gotten those gigs because they put in that effort, and I haven't. So I can't really be mad about not getting something I've never really like. You know,
but you did draw the Ninja Turtles, which is
well, that was due to that was because of my friend. I'm friends with Sophie Campbell, and she recommended me, and they need a film artist, and she asked me if I was available, and I said yeah, and then Nickelodeon approved, and I drew the issue, you know. But that was purely because of Sophie.
Man, I need better friends.
Yeah.
I have good friends, just they're not writing they're not long-term writers on the Ninja Turtles or involved in the comic book industry. But no, that's cool, man. And that issue in the variant you did, and I was just so I remember when you were like posting a lot of turtle art, and you were like, you kept kind of just saying they were like warm up pieces on like Instagram and stuff, and but you kept posting a lot. And I hit you up and I was like, are you about to go work at IDW? And you were like, can you keep your mouth fucking shut? And I was like, yeah. I was like, is that a yes? And I didn't say anything. But yeah, I was so excited. And you had a great eye for them. And you like the kind of boxy, shorter, stouter turtles that you churned out, I thought were really, really great. Like you and Santa Luco, I think, have been my favorite Ninja Turtle artists over the course of the IDW run. Like,
for real?
Yeah, man.
Outside of Sophie, obviously.
Yeah.
Sophie's art.
Sophie's art is good, and I'll
Sophie's art.
Love...
Sophie's art's amazing, and so is Paulo Tunuka. I'm sorry if I mispronounced his name, but the guy who I filled in for, he was too busy.
Yeah.
He's great. His art is fantastic as well, and I try to like ape him as much as I could between him and Sophie, find like a bridge.
Yeah.
And find my style somewhere between the two of them, because I'll never be as good as Sophie, probably never be as good as him. But like I feel like my style, I can like fit in that. Stylistically, I can fit within those two. So, I just tried my best. And I also like there was a huge deadline crunch on that. I had like 3 weeks to draw that issue.
Oh wow.
So I was like, I'm gonna like just go heavy with the dark, with the shadows, spot my blacks, and like, draw what I have to draw and black out the rest, because I was in a rush, So, and that kind of like at the end of it, when I looked at it, I was like, yeah, I love the way this came out,
Yeah, it was like,
so like,
it didn't feel rushed, like as from like a reader perspective. And yeah, man, I do think you just absolutely killed it. And I when I found out you were filling in, like that was cool, but I was like, I was rooting for you, man. Like I was really hoping you'd get to do some more issues or some more variants, and maybe it's a very long running property at IDW, and so who knows what's going to happen in the future. But I would love to see you back on there, as like an audition issue or even a fill-in issue, right? Like I think the editors on that book, the people that worked on that book, like I'm hard pressed to believe that they weren't impressed or unhappy with those pages, right? And so like I hope that the Gregori name is whispered at IDW every now and then, like when they think about maybe future projects or something. Well,
probably not.
IDW, IDW should hire me. I would whisper. I would be the one whispering in people's ear, like, but yeah, anyway, like you just did a great job on that. And
thanks,
again, like
that's all that matters, that's all that matters. Yeah. Like that's all I can control. Like we're talking about the crowdfunding campaign itself and like projecting a positive outlook. And I generally have, I've done enough of these to where it's like you do what you can and like you do the best job that you can. And if it's successful, then it is. And if it isn't, you just present the product and this is what I want to make. And I want this much money to make it. And you can either help me get that goal so I get it in your hands, or you don't find it appealing and you don't want it. And that,
yeah,
it's art. So like you can't force somebody to dig it.
That is true. It's subjective. I can scream all day about how everybody's dumb if they don't back this campaign. Don't be a dummy and back this campaign though. But like, but I just, I do know art is subjective, but I also know that, one of the challenges for artists in this industry is other than like deadlines and just the grind, right? But it's that idea of taking a static image and making it move and making it like, from panel to panel and directing the reader's gaze and all that. And, it's just like to make this non-moving image appear like it's moving. And I mean, as you look at this art and it looks like shrapnel's flying at me. I can hear the explosion. I can feel the heat. And it's like, not everybody is capable of doing that so well. And it's very cool to see you continue to accomplish feats like that, and then color these pages too, and letter the even the end cap, like that's just gorgeous.
Well, see, now that is going to change in the book.
Oh, it will.
Yeah, because that was initially like the end of the chapter when I was doing the Patreon.
Okay.
So for the book, I'm just using it as a credits page.
Oh, okay.
It's after an action sequence, kind of like a cold open.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have the credits and whatnot.
Nice.
Because I also want to credit the cover colorist is Mike Spicer, my buddy. So I'm gonna put him in there too.
Good God, man! Your variant artists and your cover colorists are like top tier of comic book industry. Like that's
You gotta use those favors, you gotta
you gotta call it in. But like you said, it's anything that helps draw eyes to the campaign, and you've got some big names out there, working with you, rooting for you, and being a part of the campaign too. So five. What is it? Is at 5,000 funding, everyone will get a 5-page preview issue 2. This is another thing I was impressed by. You're going to print in October. You're looking at a December fulfillment. Like that's 4 months, dude. Like that's fast. So it's pretty fast. I feel like for crowdfunding. Cool. Yeah.
Well, I want to beat that, so I want to get it out. I'd like to get it out by November, but
that's even crazier. But so I mean, that's backers, potential backers, take note of that. Like this is going to be something that you're not going to have to wait. It's not going to come like mid 2024. You're not going to have to wait a year for it. It's going to happen. Like I mentioned, Tony has been a part of numerous other Kickstarter campaigns. I've backed all of them that I could, and they all delivered. Fulfillment went great. Things were shipped well. They showed up great. The art that Tony shipped me showed up great. Handled with like absolute care. He knows how to take care of his customers, and he knows how to keep his audience happy. So so does Zoop. So like add like Captain Planet, these powers combined, everything is going to be absolutely wonderful. And it's a safe investment for your money. I can at least attest to that part. But yeah, the campaign it looks great, dude. I'm super excited for it. I was excited for it when I heard the title and some of the, and like just some of the art you showed off on Instagram and stuff. I was like, this looks absolutely wild. Especially after reading The Worst Dudes, right? Because you went pretty ham crazy on that too. Like you had a lot of fun doing that.
Oh yeah, that was a ton of fun. That was towards the end of that book. I felt like I had stretched that part of my imagination pretty far. It was kind of like. Because I was just kind of winging it. It's not winging it, but like in a lot of those pages, I'm drawing background characters. I'm kind of winging them as they're like popping into my head, Yeah. Especially like there's some like a brothel scene in space, like a space brothel scene. Mm-hmm. So I'm coming up with different actually, Aubrey suggested a couple characters in the script. Like I think one of them in the brothel scene, he suggested that there should be just a butt with legs, like an alien is just a butt with legs. I'm like, all right. So I drew like a sexy butt with some nice stems. That was a fun book. Yeah,
I still remember. I remember getting that trade and reading it and just being like, oh my god, like it's just like it was just absolutely bonkers. And it seems like this is in the same.
No, go ahead.
Oh no, you go. You're the guest, baby. You talk. I talk too much.
I felt. No, you don't. You're good. I felt like the marketing on that book was funny and cool, but part of me was like a part of me wishes like maybe we didn't go that route with that book.
Oh yeah.
Just like put a little like earnest sticker, like mature audiences sticker, and like let people just discover for themselves.
Oh yeah.
But I think because like I saw some reviews where people were like, because the way the book is marketed, it's like that's part of the gimmick is like it's marketed as this obscene thing, and it's really just as obscene as anything else you could find on the shelf probably, like, or maybe even not even as much as some of the image books,
Yeah.
So I don't know, it's just in hindsight, you think about things like things you would have done differently.
So you think they like over raunchified it, like people were let down that it wasn't like
okay, so that's part of the thing was that like I read some reviews where people are like, oh, this is supposed to be explicit and edgy and it's nothing and it's blah 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 blah.
Oh,
so it's like kind of like if you don't even mention it, you just like have a subtle warning and people discover it and they'll just it becomes like
I got you. I thought it was pretty raunchy, man. Like there was rampant like physical and written dick jokes that I thought just landed well, and it was a fun read, and I mean I didn't really know what to expect because it it had a vibe, right? And people were talking about it. And when I finally got the trade, I thought it paid off. Like I thought it executed well.
See, these days people like some people are just like if you they can't, like with wrestling. Some people just don't understand the gimmick,
Yeah.
Not to turn into like a wrestling kayfabe, that sort of thing. But like there's like it's just a marketing gimmick, so like that's not that serious, bro.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
like sometimes you read reviews and you read them and you just don't understand, like, do people read the thing that we made? Because like, I don't think we took from that what we were trying to do, but
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I can say I can say this as a reviewer. Lots of reviewers are pricks. But I'm just kidding. But they, yeah,
no, they're great. I love them all. Every
yeah, they're all wonderful, and please, please also review my clients' books when I email you, please. No, but no, they do. And I was even guilty of this a little bit. Like when I started getting more popular and got some pull quotes on books and stuff, right? And it is easy to kind of get a little full of yourself. You got to kind of like I kind of had to keep myself in check, right? And be like, and not get cocky and it's but I don't I don't review books like that. If I don't like something, I just don't talk about it. I'm not. That's not my vibe to like put out an article and then tag everybody in it and talk about how unhappy I was with the issues release. Like, but I do know a lot of people don't think like that, right? And they'll whether it's for clickbait or to be like an edgelord or to be like master hot take on the internet. It's just like, unfortunately, like sometimes that attitude gets you a little more traction than celebrating the positivity.
That's the thing with most things on the internet these days. It's if you're online, you're yelling at everybody and upset all the time, you get more interaction, whether it's good or bad.
Yeah.
As if you're just earnest and you're like,
yeah,
try to be decent.
I feel like it's like the positivity aspect is more of a long form game. I want to say game. It's not a game, like, because I'm genuine and it's honest, but I've gotten disenchanted with that too, where it's like you struggle so hard to be positive. And especially like,
I think if you to just the review aspect of it, I just think it's like, as long as you're able to step outside yourself and look at the content and the comic or the movie or whatever it is that you're reviewing, and not bring your own stuff to it, is like as much as possible. Then whatever you say is earnest and it's how you feel. And you can't, tastes are different. That wasn't for you or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, if you're trying to be a reviewer and like, hey, this is for kid. Like when people will review a kid's movie, like a Mario Brothers movie, and they say it's bad or whatever, because they're like, they're like a 35-year-old reviewer or 40-year-old reviewer. It's like, well, yeah, but they're making it for like a 12-year-old. So if you were 12, do you think they would really love this shit?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they did a great job. So you don't
which is weird too, because a lot of I'm a little bit younger than you are. I'm 37, but it's I still haven't seen Mario. I want to, because especially now because it's on streaming. But my friends that have seen it,
it was fun.
Everybody
I watched it. Like
it.
One night, I was sitting on the couch one night, and I'm like, I'm gonna give this a shot. Like, just see what's up, And if it sucks, I'll just start drawing. I'll start,
Yeah.
If I feel the urge to start drawing, I'll just start drawing through it, and I'll just like whatever, it's all in the background. And I was engaged. I was like, it brought me back to playing those games.
Yeah.
The original game, because there was enough original game content in there for someone of my age who only played it on like the regular original Nintendo.
Oh yeah.
To like get into it, and then the rest of it stuff I've seen through through fandom and shit like that. You see the characters, I know who they are, but I don't know like the newest Mario games. I never played Mario Kart. They didn't do any of that stuff.
Oh,
but
really?
I was engaged.
Man.
Yeah, I didn't grow up with any of that. I stopped pretty much at like the second one, I think, was like the last Mario game I played. I might play Mario Kart at like this arcade we have here in Missoula once or twice. It's fun. I'm terrible at it. I stopped playing video games a long time ago. So
yeah, I don't play them as much anymore. Especially just because how busy things are lately. But like, I recently I picked up that new Diablo game, and I spent way too much time playing it, and then now I'm like, I played it too hard too fast, and then I had to take a break from it. But my sister and about to be brother-in-law, like they're big on Mario Kart, and so like when we have like family dinners and stuff, like we'll hook up the Switch and play, and I'm always in last place, but it's still a good time. And you know, like everybody gets a little bit lit and a little bit everybody's talking shit, and you know, it's like a fun kind of family deal. But it's fun. It's fun and it's easy for like non-gamers to pick up and have a little bit of fun with it, you know, and so it's just like a random board game night or something, like just throwing on a game of Mario Kart is still there's just like a kind of a timelessness to it. And from what I've heard about the Mario movie is it very much like captures that timelessness, that feeling of youth and the excitement and like the reminders of like having to like blow in the cartridge and wondering if it's going to work, you know, and like you know, having to start over when you fuck up real bad and things like that. So I'm excited to check it out.
We used to get the Nintendo Power. I was a Metroid kid. That was my game.
Oh, yeah.
And I love Metroid because it was like one of the first games I remember playing where you needed a map to get through it.
Yeah.
Like to navigate it. And so my buddy Matt Levine and I would go to like Toys R Us or something and get like the Nintendo Power magazine.
Yeah.
They would come out and they would have all like the maps in the back and the codes and shit like that.
Yeah.
So like we would navigate each other. And, you know, it'd be like one dude would be reading the manual and the other one would be playing, and we go in shifts, you know.
That's funny, dude. That's how I got into Tool. I got a Nintendo 64, and I got the new Donkey Kong, and I wanted to. My cousin took me to Best Buy because I had Best Buy gift cards from Christmas, and I was gonna get like the strategy guide for Donkey Kong because I needed the maps and the banana locations, and my cousin Beth is giving me shit. She's like, "You're gonna spend your gift cards on a fucking video game book?" And she was like, "No, she's like, you listen to shit music." And she made me buy Anima from Tool. And then like, and then my life changed and like but yeah, it was funny. I went to buy the strategy guide and left with Anima and that album cover of like where the holographic, the dude sucking his own dick I don't remember how I was pretty young, and my parents were like, "What did you buy him?" But now it's funny too because like I've taken like my dad's real into them too now. It's like my dad and I have gone to Tool concerts and
that's cool.
But like then
I saw Tool I was in high school. It was like 1994, 1995.
Oh yeah,
I either was in high school, my senior year of high school, or I just graduated, and I saw them with my buddy Damien at this nightclub in Fort Lauderdale called the Edge.
Oh wow!
Back in like 1995, I think. And yeah, that was a fun night. That was like 18,
I couldn't imagine that, man. Because I've always seen them like even when I was in high school, like they were playing arenas when they took a break for a while, and I remember they did a very, very small tour at small venues. It was like a practice tour before a big worldwide tour of whatever new album was coming out then, and they played at this place called the Music Hall in Kansas City, and they're like no bad seat in the house. And the show sold out in 11 minutes, and we stood. My buddies and I stood in line, and I remember like we finally got up there. We were like we wanted floor seats, you know, and we're like, yeah, we need 4 floor tickets, and they were like, up, floor sold out. And my buddy starts like hitting me on the back behind me, and he's like, balcony, we'll take that. I was like, yeah, 4 balcony, let's go. And then we got our tickets, and then right like we were walking out of the building. At this mall that sold that had a Ticketmaster outlet, and we're walking out and we hear like the clerk come out and there's like this big line and they're like, show sold out, and we were like, yes, like we were so stoked. And that was the first time that was when I took my dad to see them, and so like my dad got to see Tool then, and my dad's real into like Pink Floyd and so he kind of vibed with them.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah.
I
can see the through line between Pink Floyd and Tool, you know, there's
especially like the light and production and stuff that they do now. Yeah.
Well, when I saw them, the Edge in Fort Lauderdale was a legendary club that like all the punk bands would come play in and all the metal bands and even some hip hop shows. It's not around anymore, but it was like from the 80s and 90s. And it was it was a standing room only. And it was like there was like the floor, the pit, the back area with the bar, and then there was a second story, but it was like all open. It was railings, you know.
Okay.
So like people would be lined up looking down into it, and the stage is, obviously at the end. And I saw a bunch of shows there, man. But when I saw Tool there, like I forget who the opening band was. It might have been Clutch or like.
Oh, really?
I don't remember. It was somebody that ended up being big. I don't remember who it was. I want to say it was Clutch opened up for them. This is like 1994, 1995. So that's probably when Clutch was coming up. But maybe it wasn't. But anyway, they blacked out the place. Like they turned all the lights off, and it was like that for like 5 minutes. And it was just like silent and black for 5 minutes. And then all of a sudden you hear the drum from Tool just kicking in, and he just like, it felt like forever, but it just like kept pounding and pounding until like your insides were vibrating, and all of a sudden the lights went up, and that was when Claypool would not face the fans, so the whole show he performed with his back to us.
The
whole fucking time he would not turn around.
Nice.
It was like, it was the most surreal, kind of weird, fun your experience.
He used to come out and do drag too, and he would strip like during the show, and then back then, and then he would have his own little platform and that he would stand in front of, and so you'd just see a silhouette. Maynard's always been a weirdo. I love him, but he's like
for stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, man, it was oh God, I love them so much. And then one time I even got to go sit in like a corporate suite and see them, because one of my buddies had a suite. For his dad owns an insurance company, and so I guess when I said earlier I need better friends, I do have a couple good friends, but I got to sit up in a suite and rock out, and I told everybody, I was like, what you're gonna see me do over the next hour and a half, 2 hours, like, is not going to be like attractive, because it was everybody's just sitting there, and I'm like hanging on the edge of like the suite barrier, like screaming, waving my, like going crazy, and everybody's just sitting down, like, and I was like, you guys don't get it, but no, it was awesome. But yeah, man, that's the one thing. It's funny. I haven't really thought about this. I haven't been to a show in a really, really, really long time. I remember I was going to go see Rage Against the Machine, and then COVID happened. But
Zach hurt himself too, right?
Yeah. I
I
heard about something like that.
He tore his Achilles or something.
Oh shit! I didn't know it was that bad.
Yeah, they had to cancel the tour.
Damn.
I think it was his Achilles. Yeah. He's an old man. Can't
That's
be
true.
jumping around like that anymore. I think that's what happened. I think he did a jump and did his 50-year-old ass like.
Oh no, that's
his
crazy.
Brittle Achilles just snapped.
Wow. But yeah, it's I thought about that, and I was just like,
I think the last show I went to was pre-pandemic. I went and saw Beach House at the Wilma, which is a theater here in Missoula, which was a great show. But that was a long time ago. That was like 2019, maybe.
Yeah, I think I don't even remember the last show. I think Primus might have been one of the last shows I went to.
I've been to a couple of local shows here in town of like local bands, like Missoula bands.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing like at a large venue.
Yeah. And everything's just so, I don't know, I'm gonna sound like my dad now. Everything's like so damn expensive. It's like all these bands I used to listen to that like go on tour now too. It's like, like way in the back standing room is like $70 plus a $30 Ticketmaster fee. Like it's very, very expensive to go to a big show now, which is a bummer.
Yeah. No, like my friends, there's a skate park that Jeff Ament from Pearl Jam built, which is like cool. 3 blocks away from my apartment where I live. And They have shows over there, and I have friends in bands who still perform at the skate park. Cool. It's like, it'll be a beautiful night. And it's like, the one band is called Night Witch, if you want to look them up, or Tuco. They're 2 local bands that play out there. They're hardcore.
Okay.
Like hardcore, like metal punk type stuff.
I like
some
that
a little
stuff.
psychedelic, a little trippy. But yeah, they'll have shows at the skate park, and I'll just head over there with my dog and just hang out outside with my friends, and
your little tiny baby.
Yeah, little baby. She's right here. Wants me to play with her. Her toy.
It's so funny because you're a very kind soul, and you're a sweet lovable man, but you're like, you used to be like, we both talked about this before, like we kind of like had our crazy like restaurant industry weird stories, and you got the tattoos and the shaved head, and you're like,
no, I'm the shaved head, I'm bald.
Okay.
That's the difference. Like,
But it's just so funny. Like when
if I had hair, you think I would do this? I would
I
not
don't
do this.
maybe I don't know.
No, I mean, I see
you rock
people.
it. You rock it though. But
Well, thanks. But I've had it. You know, I shaved my head when I was like 19 or 20.
yeah,
Is when I bicked it finally, because it went like, man, I hit 17. It just like,
dude, same. I started
retreated.
going bald in high school, and
Yeah,
so
me
like
too.
college finally, I started buzzing my head, and luckily like. Luckily I could pull. I haven't grown out my beard in a while, but like I luckily could pull off the like beard and bald head look, and I always wear a hat too. But anyway, it's just funny.
Well,
like
you got to protect it. You know, you can't
Yeah.
get skin cancer. So.
yeah. Well, dude, I worked a margarita festival one year at the bar I worked at, and I didn't wear a hat.
Margarita festival.
Yeah, and I was the one door guy at the gate, like no other security for these hundreds of people, and I was like, I don't know if there's a
Dude,
fight.
you got to check
what am I
out
gonna
this
do?
video. There's this video of this guy. I forget his name, but he's a YouTube content creator, and he made a video. We went to every Margaritaville restaurant in the United States and Canada. He went on a road trip. And if you just look up on your free time, if you're putzing around on YouTube, look up Margaritaville tour or whatever.
Yeah.
And he went to every single one, and it's kind of cool to see the evolution of like, because it turns into almost like a Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas type situation. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. But anyway, I'm sorry to interrupt you. You're talking about.
Well, I didn't wear a hat, and I didn't have any sunscreen or anything.
Yeah.
And I got the most gnarly sunburn on my scalp, dude. And it was
dude.
oh, it was bad. And then it like started flaking and stuff like later, and it looked like a turtle shell. Like it like
dude,
dude, and it was like, oh, it hurt so bad. And I would
think
have
moments like that back when I first started shaving my head. That happened to me quite a few times because I just didn't understand it.
Yeah, you did.
And then like I've learned real quick. Like
you learned
a lot of sunblock or you wear a hat. Especially I grew up in Florida, so it was like there's a lot of ball caps.
But yeah, going back to what I was saying was it's just I love how you like post. I love how you post so many videos of like your dog on social media.
Yeah.
I love it. I love seeing videos of her.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart, and it's for me. It's also kind of like, having it there is like always be able to look back on and remember, look at her, So like, she was my mom's dog.
Yeah, you adopted her after that, right? Yeah.
Yeah, my mom rescued her, and then my mother and father passed away within years of each other, like 2016, 2018. So then I went down and got her, brought her up here. Nice. We're family. So
yeah,
we're like sisters, cousins, but I'm also like her dad. So it's like,
and she's what, like 10 or 11 or so now, like or something like that.
She's 10.
10, yeah, nice.
Yeah.
And still.
But yeah, I mean, who doesn't want to see pictures of a dog? It's
still a feisty little girl. I love it.
Oh yeah, still feisty. She's got terrier in her for sure. So, but yeah, I mean, she's an adorable dog. So people want to see adorable vets, and it's like
I like you have a good Instagram presence. It's a lot of awesome art and a lot of awesome dog. And then every now and then some really good looking food. I dig it. It's everything I want.
yeah. I'm in the Discords. I'm always posting my dishes in the Discord to my friends.
Oh really?
The stuff I cook. Yeah, I'm a hobbyist. Like I'm definitely not a chef by any means, but like,
you take pride of what you do in the kitchen, though. I can tell that from what I've seen.
It's like the more diet restrictions I've had in my life, the older I get, the more I have to be creative with like cooking up things that are tasty or like give me enough proteins. So it's like trying to find creative ways to do that stuff. And it's become a cool little like I don't know, a little hobby,
Chef Tony. I still remember you and David giving me shit about when you guys.
Oh yeah, you were eating like chicken wings or some shit, or weren't you?
Or no, yeah, you were giving me shit because David was talking about that breakfast hot dog I made that had like two hot dogs and a fried egg.
Was it Scrapple?
Oh yeah, recently because Steve Orlando sent me Taylor ham and Scrapple and a case of beer. You made it when Steve Orlando sends you beer and food, right? But yeah,
I've known that motherfucker for 15 years. He's never sent me anything. Just kidding. I love you, Steve.
But yeah, Scrapple was okay. I don't know if I'd go out of my way to eat it again. I seasoned it real heavily, but it was a nice little breakfast. But the Taylor ham breakfast sandwich that they do in Jersey. I'm completely sold on it. And I ended up making that for like everybody in my family. My dad's real picky. And my sister and I like to cook a lot. My about to be brother-in-law is an actual chef. And
Nice.
we still give him shit because when he first started coming around, he was a sous chef somewhere, and someone was like, "Oh, this food's really good," and he was like, "Yeah, I'm a professional chef." And so even my sister, especially, she'll be like, "Oh yeah, the professional chefs here," and like it's like been a long going joke. Yeah, they get married in October. I'm really excited. I'm gonna get so drunk. It's gonna be amazing. But it's gonna be a really really good time, and I'm real happy. He's a really good, like as a brother, like. And your younger sister getting married, like he's always been really great to family and her, and we're lucky as a family, and she's lucky as a woman. He's good people. And anyway, but yeah, like we all like to cook and have fun. And but yeah, you guys were giving me shit or you were giving me shit about the unhealthy stuff that I eat, and you were like, you can't live like that, Blake. And I was like, I'm gonna live forever. But you guys started talking about sausage and peppers, and I was like, what are you guys talking about? You don't know fucking sausage and peppers? Your mom's Italian? What the fuck, man? You guys, oh man, you laid into me. And then even myself, I was like,
I've never heard of that before. That's crazy. It's like milking honey or milking cookies.
Yeah, even my sister and my mom, I was like, you guys sausage and peppers, and my mom was like, yeah, and I was like, we've never had that, and then my mom was like, well, your dad doesn't eat peppers and onions and stuff, so we can't really make. And I was like, fucking dad, he's so picky. We give him shit all the time. But yeah, it's
now I make vegan sausage and peppers, so I don't.
Oh really?
Yeah, I don't eat pig. I've never. I mean, I used to eat bacon back in the day, but like even before I got old enough to where I like physically couldn't eat it anymore, I'd stopped eating it like as much because it's just like if the richness or I don't know something, the grease, it was just too much, you know. And yeah, it's been about 15 years since I've had any sort of like pig meats, I think. So, you know,
like any meat at all, or just
no. I eat chicken and fish. I eat chicken and salmon, and like I don't fuck around with red meat. Yeah, I haven't eaten red meat in probably like 5 years.
Wow.
And pig before that was like probably maybe 5 or 10 years. Yeah, it's just, you know, I feel like I feel better the less.
I've heard it definitely changes you if you can acclimate to it. I always feel bad, man, because I love animals. I do, and you know we've brought dogs in off the street and raised them, and they've changed our lives, and I, you know, there's nothing worse than seeing animals mistreated, and it breaks my heart, and it fucks with me sometimes because I see like you know, it's people with like pet pigs and stuff, and they're like amazing creatures, and I get swept up in guilt and be like, oh, I mean, I can't believe I eat these things sometimes, right? And it's but I always go, I'm a dirty hypocrite, and so I always end up going back to it. But it's I've thought about it a lot, and not necessarily I should think more about the health aspect of it, but it's more of like I've recently just started you know, when you see the videos of how they raise these creatures and what they do to like mass produce them and send them to the markets and stuff, like it's heartbreaking and crazy. I mean,
even if like because you know, even if like someone doesn't care about animals, it's just better for you physically to eat less animal proteins.
Yeah.
You know, to eat more vegetable-based, like a more vegetable-based diet. That's just facts, you know. Like, so, you know, if I always view when I talk to somebody about it, and like someone's like an adamant meat eater, it's like because they feel like, you know, this is God, you know, humans reign supreme over the earth, and like the Bible, like the biblical shit, you know, and like it's all for us to feast on, you know. It's like, well, but it's better for you to not eat it. Like you don't, like people say you can't be a vegetarian and be like buff or work out a lot or be an athlete. Yeah. And that's not true. There's so many people who do it.
No, there's tons of there's alternate means of protein that you can get.
This is all bullshit. Yeah. But it's like, you know, and even as like a regular person, like you or I feel better when I don't eat it, you know, not to be on a high horse about it. Cause like, I don't, you know, like I eat a fuck ton of steak and pig back in the day. You know,
Mhm.
I grew up eating anything. You know, like, I'm Greek and Italian. We're eating lamb. We're eating all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
So you know, it's more like as a like for me, it's been just like a health discovery. As the older I get, the more like I can eat these things, and then I realize like, oh yeah, these are actually. The more research I do, the more like I look into it.
Nice.
It's like, yeah, I should have been eating those. I should have quit eating those things a long time ago. You know.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't, and I mean, it was maybe not as many years ago as I'd like to admit when I really started getting into like veggies and how much they can like bring out. And I used to like,
I like how you
my
said
dad,
that veggies like a
Yeah.
baby. Oh, I'm getting into my veggies. Look at
And
you.
for a long time, my dad hated onions, and he would always tell me like I wouldn't like onions. And now like I want onions and everything. And
Oh yeah.
and,
I put garlic
but
in
my
everything,
dad,
man. That's just antioxidant. Like
yeah, it's
Oh, yeah.
it's great. But yeah, it's, I mean, I need to. I need to focus more on eating healthier too. We're dangerously encroaching around that area you told me not to get into. That we talked about last time. But no, it's
not going to talk about it. I refuse.
But yeah, it's there's so much food that you can experiment with and try and not have to not have to do red meat and things like that. And yeah, it's definitely something to explore. But
the only pig you should be consuming is Porkchop Robot Killer.
There it is. What a segue! God, you see, you said you're a natural writer. Look at that, just off the cusp. But no, it's yeah.
I've been watching Mad Men, you know, so I'm getting in my ad fucking my ad.
Yeah, because that's all you're doing.
Now.
You're in the marketing headspace now. Like every I pitched that. I pitched that.
I lit up on screen. Did you see that? I did the whole Mad Men Don Draper thing.
Yeah. I always tell people like when we're having meetings and stuff, and I'm like, you know, a lot of people don't realize that with crowdfunding is it's like you think it's just this comic book or the end game, right? And to get it funded, but what it really is 30 days of content spread across multiple platforms that like you're either going to have to do that yourself or have people help you, but you know, you have to have a presence and a daily presence. And
you just depressed me, Blake. Like 30 days of content. Oh. I was telling my friends earlier, I'm already sick of myself. Like 2 days into this thing, I'm fucking tired of it.
You'll be okay.
I know.
But yeah, you know, you can't just post the same thing every day. You can't just post out a link.
Well, people start to like. I already feel like half the people who follow me on Twitter have muted me anyway. So like,
nah.
Either during like a football season or something, and I'm like yelling at somebody online for being an idiot, or I'm like, like you know what I did? Like I started just a sports burner account to follow all the sports teams. Yeah. Because I hit the message limit one day in a group DM with some friends. Because like we were watching AEW, we were watching Wednesday night Collision, and we were like just talking shit in the DMs all throughout Collision, and I hit my limit. I'm like, what the fuck? Like I want to talk to my friends, and I'm working watching this thing.
Yeah.
So I started a burner just for sports, and I'm like, damn, I should have done this a long time ago because I can't imagine how many people who follow me just for art over the years, like because you know there is that like segment of people who are into comics and art who don't fuck with sports at all, which is, you know, cool. That's fine. I understand. I don't fuck with like video games. That's not my thing.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't like, I don't like get upset, but like, I don't fuck with it. So like, I get it. If people are like, oh, all they do is post video game content. Like if like I'm sitting there talking about sports on Twitter, people are like, you know, I follow you because you drew Ninja Turtles, not because like you want the Heat to win the NBA
I don't want to hear you
finals.
talk about basketball.
Yeah. So I should have done a long time ago, but you know, lesson learned.
Yeah, no, I've noticed the same thing. It's always kind of nice when like every now and then I'll have people on and we'll end up talking like football and I'm like, I'm like this is so Chiefs. Weird. Oh, dude, yeah, it's still crazy. I posted a video on Facebook the other day. So I don't know who the announcer was, some ESPN guy, or it was a young dude I didn't recognize, but he was basically talking and he was like, there's no one that can stand. There were two quarterbacks that could stand up to Patrick Mahomes and beat him when it mattered. And one was Brady and he's gone. And the other one was the Bengals quarterback. And he was like, that's the only challenge that Kansas City has. And he was saying like, basically what he said is, you know, we lost games. Yeah, we'll see. I don't want to get too cocky because I've definitely I'm still shocked. I'm still like more shocked typically throughout.
Well,
the
you know,
season
it
than-
is like you have. I won't get too deep into sports, but I guess we're getting into it now. Like I call the Chiefs the favorites for sure. But
Yeah.
you know how it is, man. One injury or
Oh yeah,
like,
and we've
it's
we've
like the whole everything changes. So it
we've,
doesn't.
we've
And then
seen
like
we've seen
the
Pat
Bengals
limp
went into your
before,
place
so-
and yeah, he can get hurt. Anybody can get hurt. Like
yeah,
and then another team could get lucky. Like say my
That's
Miami
true, yeah.
Dolphins. Say my Miami Dolphins have a good season as far as injuries go. Tua
Mhm.
stays healthy, Armstead stays healthy, and I get a full season out of both of them. Who's to say the Miami Dolphins wouldn't be in the AFC Championship game against the Chiefs?
yeah,
Who's to say?
yeah. I
mean,
mean,
I'm
I would
saying
kind
I'm
of like
predicting
that.
it, but
I would kind of like that just to
yeah,
because
As long as it's in Miami, I don't want to go to Arrowhead. You're coming down to Miami. That's the deal.
Arrowhead's a beautiful place. I was about to say you'd come eat and barbecue, but you'd be like, no, I won't. Like,
No.
you know, some of our local barbecue places though do like barbecued fruit and stuff, and there's like, oh man, like dragon fruit or something weird.
Yeah,
You can like smoke it and shred it and put barbecue sauce on it, and it's like very similar to pulled pork. You can like make sandwiches and stuff with it, and it's supposed to be really good. Some other stuff I've been wanting to try and experiment with. They also charge you out the ass for it. You can be like, you can get like all this red meat for like $20, and then if you try and eat like some of the experimental or like vegan options, they're like, well, that one's 30, and it's like, why? Like, you're charging me more money anyway.
And I went out with my friends the other night. We went out to eat, and then we went to this speakeasy, basement bar in downtown Missoula. And I don't drink, but they do. So they're drinking beers, and I ordered a non-alcoholic, the Athletic IPA.
Uh-huh.
I think it was cerveza. I had an IPA and a cerveza, but it's non-alcoholic. It's the one John Moxley drinks. He was like kind of drinking at the end of like one of the pay-per-views. But anyway, they were more expensive than their beers. They were like $7 a piece. I'm like, how the fuck? Like, how you get a 6-pack of this for like $8? Like, why would... But I was out with them, and I was like, I like the way they taste, and it's like a social thing, you know. But I don't want to drink, so it's like, I did it to like, you know, it was easier time.
Yeah,
because you know, I think with people who drink, like if you're hanging out with people who drink and you don't drink, they get more uncomfortable than you do,
which is weird. I've never been one of those unless I know you and we party hard a lot or whatever, and then one day you're like, I'm not drinking. I would maybe like, you all right? But like if someone's out and they're like, everybody orders a drink and they're like, I'll take a water or I'll take a Coke. Like I'm not going to be one of those people like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You're not drinking, you know? And it's like, you know, because
that's like, you know, that's like, that's probably when you were a younger person, you would do that. And my friends wouldn't do that now, but there's definitely still that like me.
Yeah,
I feel more at ease.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm drinking beer, they're drinking beer, but it's not. We're drinking the same. It's communal. But, you know, like I'm not like judging you, or they don't feel like I'm judging them.
Because I've been there on the other side of it. Because I don't smoke as much anymore, even though everything's like legal here and stuff now. Just because like I'm just a lightweight now, so I got to be careful because it turns into like uncomfortable and then nap central real quick, unless like, you know, I have to kind of pace myself now. And I'm more of I like the gummies more than smoking. And so like sometimes when I smoke, it'll catch up with me a little too easily. But I used to get so much shit from people for that. Like, cause before I worked in the bar, I didn't drink much. And I was a smoker and people would, you know, people would be like, oh yeah, go outside, smoke your weed, Blake, man. And I was like, I don't give you guys shit for drinking, you know, and I just never really understood that mentality. So, you know, it's not like I was like going into an alleyway, rolling up my sleeve and tying off to shoot up or some shit, right? I was just like going outside to hit a vape pen and like take the edge off. But yeah, it's because I saw that a lot in the bar too, like where people of all ages would like, especially if like a server got off work or something and hung out for a little bit and people would try and buy him shots and they'd be like, no, I'm just hanging out, ordering dinner, and I'm going to go home. And people would be like, well, you're not drinking. And it's just like, get out of people.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of that in the service industry.
Yeah.
Like it's a different world, you know?
Yeah, it is a weird, I miss it. I miss it sometimes. And then when I think about it real hard, I'm like, I don't miss a goddamn thing about it.
I still have nightmares. I still have nightmares on bartending. Like,
yeah.
I'm like behind a bar, but the bar is around my bed. And then like people are coming up and ordering drinks, and like this fucking speed rack is all around. the edge of my bed. I'm like lay down, and I get up, and I'm making drinks. And I go back down, and more people come up. And it's like a never-ending thing, and it's like the same dream I would get after like a night where you're like in the weeds for like fucking 3 hours.
Yeah,
you know?
like the trauma,
Yeah.
the PTSD.
Yeah, and it still happens. It's like fucking ingrained in my
I have
It's
every now and then I have
disturbing.
dreams that and not lately, but like I used to have dreams that I would get fired and I would have to go, I would go back to my boss and beg my boss, who also fired me, but like beg for my bouncer job back. And it was just really embarrassing. And then I would wake up and be like, what the fuck? Like I'm employed. It was always weird. But yeah,
they always motivate me to get up and draw and like work harder at what I do.
Oh yeah,
go back to that.
Yeah.
So it's like, those days I wake up and I'm like, that was jarring. Like,
Did you watch The Bear?
Yeah.
I remember.
I love it. I thought it was really great.
Is phenomenal. But me and my about to be brother-in-law, like that season 1 finale when like the ticket, the online orders goes crazy, and he's like, fire 30 chickens, like and it was like hard for both of us to watch because that sent me because I remember those days like being behind the bar. I was never an official bartender, but like when my manager wasn't there, they would let me pour if it got real busy because the bartenders needed help. So like the bar would be like 3 deep. I'd be making drinks, and then the tablets are going off on both ends of the bar, right? And it's like da-ding, 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 and I would be like running over and like putting the orders in and stuff, and then hop over to Expo and like help out a little bit with Expo. And it was just like I remember those crazy nights where it's just like nothing would stop, and then on top of everything, these fucking DoorDash orders and stuff. And like when that happened at the end of The Bear, like I don't think I breathed, dude. I was just like holding my breath and turning purple, and I was just like the fear like crept back over me, and I was like I need a fucking drink. That was intense.
I worked in so many spots like that.
Yeah, it was crazy. But I mean, I think
I worked at this one spot in Fort Lauderdale called Geronimo's. It was a college bar next to like Nova, right near where the Miami Dolphins practice at, near their facility, like near the Dolphin Stadium actually. And it was like one of those spots where like it was a food service place like for evening for lunch and dinner, but then it was open to like 4 a.m. and it turned into like just a total dive bar, like with college kids and fucking locals and like South Florida, like wannabes and, you know, the whole fucking gamut, you know. And at night you would bartend, but you were waiting on tables, and it was like you, a crew of like you and like 3 or 4 other dudes, and you would all just do everything. So you would all just like, it's almost like socialism, you know, where everyone was picking up their own, but it was ran by these fucking right-wing Greek psychopaths. So it was like, it was weird. It's a weird experience, but yeah, I remember the nights of like having to like go run food, and then fucking like say the cook was gone, you have to drop something in a fryer, then you have to go change a keg, and then you gotta like go behind the bar and work service for the server, or whoever's picking up a table. It's like it's just constant, you know. And then you're drinking the whole entire time,
right? Yeah, right. That's what. And
then by the end of it, like at least one person is not able to like finish a shift because they're so drunk. And it's usually like we had one guy who would always get like blackout, like blotto at the end of the night every time you work with him, and he was like a assistant manager guy too. So it was like, fuck, we got to work with this guy. Like he makes us pick up his slack, and by the end of the night, he's just fucking wasted counting money. It's like
that was my GM sometimes. Like I remember, dude, one time I had to find my boss. We always got real busy on like Thanksgiving. It wasn't in a college town, but we were in like just outside of the big Kansas City bar district in a nice neighborhood, but we had good specials. And so the college kids would come for like our beer specials and stuff. And Thanksgiving and the holidays were always fucking nuts there. And because all the kids are coming home and everybody wants to go to this bar and meet up. And I remember like, my boss got off, and he was like, like the owners and people were there, and there was like all these people were there for Thanksgiving, and my boss comes up the stairs, and he's like wild-eyed, right, and he's got powder all over his fucking nose, and I was like, I had to go up to him and like give him a napkin and be like, wipe your fucking face off, dude. And it's funny because that's the guy that fired me. So like, but I did stupid shit too, so I can't. It's not like I wasn't being dumb a lot of times. Like great stories, fun times, easy money. Well, no, not easy money because you work hard for that fucking money. Fast money, fast money, I guess.
Definitely fast money for sure.
But yeah, it's dude, there's just some wild nights, and just being just being a bouncer in general, even though like it wasn't super crazy, but there were a couple nights where like the tables get flipped and you get half scared for a second, right? And then and like people tell you they're going to come back and get you like after close, and you're walking to your car like it's just that stuff. I don't miss getting.
I remember one time I ran security at this nightclub in downtown West Palm Beach, and we threw out this guy. I ended up having to go to court as a witness because he said that like what happened was when we threw him out, he was going nuts. I don't know what he was on, drugs or something, and his wife or girlfriend or partner was alongside of the situation trying to like get guys off of him, the bouncers, as they were escorting him out, and he turned around and he hit his own partner. Right?
Oh shit.
Yeah, and then he blamed us, saying that we did it.
Oh wow.
Right, and so we had to go to court because of this, and also he got charged with like a terrorist threat because what happened is the police came, took him away, but they took him like around the corner into like another block away and just let him go. Oh, so he gets on the phone and he calls on the phone. And he's like, hey, I want to speak to that bald fucker and that guy with the long hair. Because my other buddy was the general manager had a long ponytail, and I was a security manager, I had a bald head, and we were there dealing with him. This was going on. He's like, I want to talk to that bald fucker and that guy with the long hair. And we get on the phone. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna blow that fucking place up. And my buddy knew. He's like, hey, is this Magic? That was his name. They called him Magic. He's like, yeah. He's like, all right, asshole. And I just got you for a terroristic threat. So he called the cops on him, and they picked him up for that. So I had to go to court and testify against this dude, and he worked out at my gym, and he would fucking walk past me as I was working out and just like spit at my feet.
Oh my God.
Like, yeah, because he wasn't allowed to talk to me or like interact with me because of a court order.
Wow.
But he would like look at me and just give me death stares. Death stares. He was like this little, I don't know what he was. He was a little guy. He was like 5'4".
Yeah.
But just strong.
It's always the little ones, man. The
little ones. When they threw him out, we had this one bouncer who worked there. He used to play for the Lions. He was like this big hulking cornbread white dude. And like he got on top of Magic and like was trying to basically bear hug him, and he basically like lifted him up and like kind of like was able to like be not like overtake him, but move around and not let him control him. And there's like two other dudes on him who were like my size, who were like between 5'8" and 5'10", grabbing on him, and that's when he's swinging, and that's when he hit his partner.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that dude, he would like just walk by and spit at me. And like I'd be working out with a buddy, and then I have to explain the situation, or like people who like working out there and just looking at this thing happening, And I'm like trying not to make a big deal of it,
Yeah.
Yeah. Eventually, I don't even remember how that resolved itself. I just remember like the court case went, he lost, and then I think he might have got jail time. I never heard.
Yeah, I had to go to court a couple times, not because stuff I did, because of other stuff that happened at the bar. I had to be like a witness, and then one time I thought I was going to jail. This dude hit my manager, and I grabbed him by the throat and drug him outside and threw him out the back door, and he fell and hit his head, and it like his head cracked open, and it was bleeding, man. And he stands up, and he takes his hat off, wipes his hand. There's blood all over his hand. And he walks up to me and wipes his blood all over my shirt. And look what you fucking did to me. And then I was like, oh my, I was like, don't puke for one. But I was scared because I knew he was hurt. I didn't want to hurt, I didn't mean to do that. And I was scared.
Yeah.
Just lots of stuff was going on in my head. Right. And then on top of that too, I was just like, whoa, and then the cops ended up coming. And this dude, this young college kid on the patio, everybody had my back, right? They were like, the guy hit the manager. There was a tussle. He fell and hit his head. This one kid gets up, walks over to the cops, points at me, and he's like, that guy was pretty rough with that dude. And I was like, oh no. I was like, I'm going to fucking jail. But they cuffed the guy, put him in an ambulance, and I lucked out. But I was so I was like, oh my God. I was like, I can't go to jail, and I was like, this is, like it was. And so, yeah, like I'm glad that all that stuff is behind me. All that. What's up, K-pop? Thanks for tuning in. But yeah, it's and
that's situations happen when there's booze involved.
Yeah,
there's booze involved, and people's emotions get riled up, and then shit happens.
Yeah.
Like people
and
fall.
You just lose control.
Yeah,
but yeah,
you're trying to subdue somebody, and like you do what you can, and like
yeah.
He was
And
that guy.
no one
That
like
guy was probably
trains you.
drunk, right? So
Oh, he was hammered. Yeah, he was hammered.
And so if you even shove him a little bit, like you didn't have to shove him that hard, and he probably would have went
Yeah,
over.
he like stumbles. What
Yeah.
saved it was the cops cuff him, right? And they're looking at his head and they're like, we're calling you, you're gonna need stitches, we're calling an ambulance and stuff. And the guy's like, let me fucking go, I'm out of here. Da, da, da. He's like, I'll drive home. And they're like, you're not driving anywhere, dude. And they're and he's like, fine, I won't drive anywhere. Uncuff me so I can go back there and beat that fat kid's ass. And I was like, dude, you're talking to a police. I was like, just shut up. And the cops, that's kind of what saved me too, I think, was the cops knew like it was shit was going on. And a lot of times, I mean, in Kansas City anyway, like
I mean, that point is self-defense too. Like,
yeah, like they usually sided with us but I also remember there was another bouncer like went to jail, and there was a big court case and stuff in Westport, which is the big bar area in Kansas City. And the same thing happened. There was a fight in the bar. There was a tussle, and the dude got shoved. He fell and hit his head, hit the corner of the bar, and he died. And the bouncer got like charged and had to like get a lawyer up. And it was like all the bars were talking about it, 'cause like that never happened before, and everybody was like, oh my God. And so like all that shit was like going through my head when this happened. And I was like, well, my life's over. I was like, you just like everything's done so that you could fucking work at a bar and party with, cute servers all night. This is what you did with your life. It's like like everything's flashing before my eyes and shit. But now, but I don't even go out a lot anymore. Like it's not super fun. I like going to restaurants and having good meals and stuff, but like bar hopping and sitting in a bar for hours to spend too much money on booze and get stupid that's just not fun for me anymore. I still drink, right? Like I drink at home or with friends and stuff, but yeah, the bar days, I don't miss it. I got a lot of stories, but it's
yeah. I'm glad I went through it. I'm glad I did all the stuff I did. But
yeah, I think I'm a better person for it, and I think I'm better at doing this because I know how to talk to people. When you're behind a bar several nights a week,
you gotta be personable.
Yeah,
you gotta turn it on. I still have that. I haven't been to a con in a while, but I remember like when I would do cons, in the before times, like those skills really came in handy. Just I'm behind the bar again, just trying to sell you this like poison.
Something else.
It's just another type of poison.
Ronan says I'm too pretty for jail. I hope that's true.
You are. They take advantage of you, buddy.
Yeah. It would be. I'm too nice. I would. I don't even want to think about that. But it's I remember that one of the first time I talked to you, because I think I was like recently out of the industry when the first time I talked to you is when I started doing all the, like I was working in a office job and started podcasting, and I was still getting used to like office job life and doing all this other stuff, and it was interesting because like we said earlier, it's odd when you're like talking about sports with a comic book person. It doesn't happen all the time. It's unless it's like wrestling. Wrestling and comics have a big crossover, like football, basketball, and comics not as much. And then, but like a lot of people, like when I've talked to them and when they find it, they're like, "You were a bouncer," and it's just like there's just a lot of people that don't know what that service industry life is like, and that's still a nice little connection with people when you're like oh the chaos, like we've been there, and I couldn't even imagine like a college town in Florida. Like that's
well, I mean, I worked in West Palm Beach, which is like a decently sized city, which is like an hour north of Fort Lauderdale. And then I worked in Miami, North Miami Beach, and worked in Fort Lauderdale Beach, downtown Fort Lauderdale, Davie, Cooper City. And then I moved to San Diego, and I worked the bars in San Diego on the Gas Lamp. And I worked down on the beach in Mission Beach at a place called the Wave House. There was like a outdoor beach facility that had like a wave, like a man-made wave.
Whoa.
Right. So like people like, ride the wave and shit and get wasted. And there was like an indoor part too, where there was like, they'd have concerts and shows. Like, I think Tripod Quest played there, and like Skrillex, and they had like a Sunday. Anyway, like a Sunday like techno. I don't even know if it's open anymore. They used to do like a techno dance party on the beach where like Tommy Lee came and DJ'd and Pamela was with him, and they were hanging out on the stage the whole time. Yeah, they drove like a white SUV up on the beach. Like it's weird. I don't know why they did that, but yeah. And so I worked there, and then I moved to Boulder, and worked like in downtown on Pearl Street and catered. Like this catering company in Boulder, and we would do like weddings and events all over like Denver, Boulder. We go up into the mountains and shit like that. And then I moved to Missoula in 2012 and comics full time ever since.
So were you when you were doing your living the service industry life? Were you doing? Because you went to you mentioned you went to an art school, didn't and
in
left.
Fort Lauderdale.
So like, were you doing art and drawing and stuff like while you were in the service industry? And
yeah,
like,
from about 2005, 2004, 2005 on. That's when I went back to school. Like 2004, 2005. That's when I started drawing again.
Nice.
And then around 2007 is when I was doing this book with Mike Spicer, and it got picked up by an indie publisher in Miami, and the publisher got a table at San Diego Comic-Con. And it's a long story short, I moved out there to San Diego in 2007. Personal stuff led me to go out there too as well, like a relationship that failed and whatnot. So in 2007, I was working at the Gas Lamp. I was trying to break into comics, but I was bartending at these spots, either downtown San Diego or at the beach. And I did that for some years, and then came back to Florida for a spell to take care of my mom. And I worked at a bar in Fort Pierce on the water, like in Martin County, Florida, where my parents lived on the condo, and worked there for a bit, and then went to Colorado and was there for some years, and then came to here.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Do you still do that deal? Do you guys like with the local artists and you guys like get together?
Oh, sorry. The whole time I was doing that, I was drawing. So from that point on, I would work at night, and I would like come home from work at whatever time, like either 4 or 5 in the morning if it was at like a nightclub, or if I was doing catering, I get home at like midnight, 1 o'clock or whatever, But then I would draw till I ran out of energy, and I'd go to sleep, and I wake up in time to go just again? like an hour before my shift starts. Whatever time my shift starts, I just need an hour to get up, get my shit together, shake off the rust, and then like go to work and do that I did that for years.
Wow.
For years. Yeah. And
that's crazy. It paid off, I guess. So. Yeah.
I guess. Yeah. Yeah. Here I am.
Yeah.
Talking to you.
Here you are. I'm Blake Spuzz, everybody's dream. But no, I mean,
it's all led to this moment. I'll let you Blake bump. I need that fucking Blake bump, baby.
No, it's cool. I see I know it gets hard for you guys to see it sometimes. It's because it's easy to not, I do the same thing. Like I sometimes it's hard for me to see my success and my own growth sometimes, but I mean, I'm imagining that, and like imagining like my grad school writing experience where I was doing the same thing, like party all night, go home, write, work on projects and stuff for school, sleep all day, go to class, go back to work. And it's, it's like, and I see your hard work paying off. Like the last couple, like I'd say the last couple of years, like seeing what you've been doing, and it seems to me like it keeps escalating into new and better territories for you. And going back to now with this solo project, who cares if who cares if it's not on a publisher? Like you're crowdfunding it, it's your baby, it's this important thing that this story that you had to tell.
Yeah, no, honestly, like I wouldn't. This is the way I prefer to do it, to be honest.
Nice.
Like, I prefer to do it this way because it's my story, and I don't,
Not no one can, no one can take it from you, right? Like it's
but and I like, but as far as art, like as far as editors go and things of that nature, like if I was like writing scripts, I probably want an editor to check them out, but I'm not. I'm kind of the way I work is like I kind of outline the issue, what's going to happen, and I do like a page breakdown, like this is what's going to happen on each page.
Yeah.
And then when I start laying it out, like doing the thumbnails, that's when I'm kind of like writing and forming the connective tissue between scenes. So I don't work in that sense of like full script to myself. It's like, what's the point? Like, it's all up here, baby.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Especially because it's not like with them collaborators, but also like it's not the characters. They're not like we were talking earlier. They're not really verbose, So it's not a lot of dialogue, not a lot of pontification or exposition, none of that shit. It's
hey, actions speak louder than words, baby.
Yeah, right? Well, it's because I wanted to draw action. I wanted to draw like fast-paced action, but I also wanted to be able to find intimate, quiet moments and peaceful moments. Yeah, I think I've done that. Like in the first issue, there's a good mix of like of different vibes, And nice. I feel like it's a really solid first issue. But like the whole drive was to draw this action, and like I think I said, I did did an interview the other day and I was talking about it, and I was like, I wanted to draw like things getting destroyed, but I didn't want to draw people or animals getting destroyed.
Okay.
So like, yeah. So I want to draw these robots just getting ran through by this pig, you know. And,
when you say it out loud, it hits different. Like, but it's again, I like comic books like that, and that's one of the reasons why I love indie comics. Is it's just like you can get a little wild, you can get a little weird.
It's
right?
kind of like
you
you read Shaolin Cowboy. It's like they got
Yeah.
the same. It's a little bit. I'm definitely not Darrow, that's for sure. But like, I tried to model it after that, just as far as like the pacing goes, and like
Okay.
just the vibe of the storytelling and the book itself.
Nice.
Like where it's quiet, it's a lot of action that speaks for itself, and then the character will say like one word here or there, and then some other characters will yell at that person, will react to the lead, as opposed to the protagonist reacting to the world, you know, in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Like at least verbally, you know. But then like I enjoy that kind of stuff. I enjoy like the cartooning of like a character's expression when he's upset or sad, and not reading him saying I'm mad or I'm sad. You know?
Yeah, no, I think I think moments like that like hit better, like when you can see it and feel it, and it's more than just reading it. You know, it's like you said, show don't tell, when as much as you can and whenever possible. It's usually the best route. K-pop said something when we were talking about the industry. She said she could probably run that yard. I have no doubt. K-pop's pretty badass. I've seen her corral indie creators and her viewers, and I have no doubt. My co-host is in dropping the link. Thanks for sharing that, Cole. By the way, if no one knows, Cole and I, Blake's Buzz and Blake and Cole Read a Book are nominated for Comic Book Community Awards, which was absolutely, we found that out yesterday.
Congrats.
Absolutely crazy. Yeah, and it's cool because like it's like other
golf clap
things, but it's like our peers voted on that, and like we didn't vote for ourselves or each other, so we don't know who nominated or voted for us, but whoever did, like, thank you. We really appreciate it. Cole says he's listening to us on Bose headphones. We both sound good. Well, that's good.
Sweet.
This microphone cost me a whole lot of fucking money, so I'm glad it sounds good. Yeah, no, Tony, I just looked at the time. I didn't realize we've almost talked for 2 hours. I'm so sorry. I always tell myself I'm gonna try and wrap these up at an hour, and it never ever works.
Didn't feel like 2 hours, so
no, yeah, it doesn't. It's like catching up with an old friend, man. Like I really did miss talking to you. It was funny. You reached out to me about coming on the show, and I was like, hell yeah. And then I think like a day or two later, Zoop was like, "Hey Blake, will you have Tony on your show?" And I was like, "Oh, we already talked. He's coming on." And they were like, "Oh, cool." And so yeah, like, you know, another thing that's cool with Zoop is they'll help reach out to press for you, try and do everything for you. It's cool.
I want to put out there that they have been great to work with so far. Like I can't express how grateful I am to them, to like all the hard work that Eric and Jordan do.
Yeah, they're good people. It's
pretty cool. Like this is very cool. They care, and they obviously care about comics, and it's appreciated. So.
Yeah. I can't imagine.
I've had like a couple creators recently ask me about them. Like, so what's the deal with them? You know, and I can definitely say good things. So
yeah, the only thing that hurts them and is why and eventually they're not going to have this problem because they're continuing to grow and building their own reputation as well. It's just like everybody always that Kickstarter mailing list, those Kickstarter metrics, and like your like the
they won't get Kickstarter won't give the mailing lists. We tried to get our mailing list from Kickstarter and they wouldn't give it to us.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I didn't know
that.
Are
you able to get? Yeah, we're not able to get one.
I know like there's that backer kit launch. Like if you integrate backer kit with Kickstarter, you can like accumulate a mailing list through backer kit, which is separate than Kickstarter, which you can export into whatever.
Dude, that's like now you're talking another language to me. I don't even know. You just were like, I
don't know how it works either. I just know what people tell me. I'm like, yeah, cool. Mailing list. Let's send
it. What?
Tell people to. It's like $100 a campaign or something.
I don't know. As we asked them for another project, and they wouldn't give it to us. So
wow, pricks.
It's like just sending updates. Sending updates through like. The campaigns themselves,
I wasn't aware of this, but apparently I'm contractually obligated to make you a sandwich if you go over 2 hours. I can make you, I can make a pretty mean salmon BLT. We just leave. Well,
no bacon,
but we can put avocado on that bad boy. It's pretty good.
Now you're talking.
Yeah.
On gluten-free bread. Do you have any gluten-free bread?
We can get it. We can get
I
it.
don't fuck with gluten either. So
I like that. What is it like the live sprout stuff or like the Dave's bread, fancy bread? I like that stuff. It's good.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, it's that's.
I'm just fucking around. I'll eat a pizza every now and again. So.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you're a human being.
Yeah, I'm not a robot.
That would be what I would have a problem, like the gluten stuff, and it would be the because I like cheese pizza too, and like cheese and like like put peppers and stuff on it. I can do that. But I would like if I pizza and tacos, like that's what I would. I'd have to find like a new way to have tacos.
Well, taco shells are gluten free, so
yeah, and I guess you could do like marinated tofu and also like a bunch of other weird shit. Or you can do we do fish tacos a lot if you can.
I mean, I eat chicken.
Yeah.
I eat chicken.
Oh yeah, chicken. Duh. You can shred that.
Yeah. I eat chicken like every other day. It's like
nice. Yeah, I need to eat more chicken. Chicken's just always it's like it's always in the freezer. Like we get it and it's in the freezer, and so anytime I think about chicken, I'm like, oh, we got to thaw it out, and then I take it to thaw it out, and then I forget about it, and then it goes bad. I have a terrible track record with chicken.
That sounds like a you problem, not a chicken problem.
Oh, it's a huge me problem. Most things in my life are me problems. Dude. Yeah, it's most of the stuff is definitely my problem. But yeah, it's but yeah, the salmon, like a salmon BLT though with no bacon and on like. I usually do sour bread because I like that. I like that crunch. But I mean, any bread you can toast.
Sourdough I like sourdough.
Nice. Well, maybe one day I'll be out there, or you'll come to Kansas City Planet Comic Con for some big comic you're doing. I'll make you a fucking sandwich, Tony Gregori. I'd be happy to.
That'd be nice. Gotta get you out to Missoula at MizCon.
Yeah, dude. All I've wanted to do, because this year I got to go to the big Kansas City Con, and it was my first ever convention, and I got a press pass, and so it was my first convention. Got to do press, blew my mind. I had so much fun. I was so tired, but I just like instantly like missed it as soon as it was over too. And like, being excited, having a hard time going to sleep, and then getting up early so I could be like the first in line and maybe knock out some interviews before the crowds and stuff came in. But yeah, I had so much fun. And it was wild. And all I wanted to do was like, because I bought these nice wireless microphones to do interviews at the con. And so like I have the gear to like travel and do like Blake's Buzz in the Wild. All I've wanted to do is travel and do more cons. And it's just like, things get expensive. Like Rylan Grant told me that I could apply for a pro pass for SDCC because of the PR stuff I do. And he's like, he was like, dude, if you apply, they'll more than likely give you one. And I was like, whoa. But then I was like, well, someone's got to let me sleep on their couch, or, I got to figure out how to get there, how to stay there, and how to eat and get back home. Which is, that's the crazy part. But eventually I do want to start doing more cons and branching out, and because it was really cool to like meet people I'd interviewed or talked to on the show before. And I got talking to Jimmy Palmiotti was fucking dope, and just meeting all these people and like getting to go behind the table. Like, they'd be like, I would get to like go behind the tables and like set up the microphones, and we do these interviews, and it was a wild experience that I just need more of in my life.
Those are fun times.
It's good stuff.
Last con I went to was 2018, I think.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I went to Emerald City. Before that I had done Emerald City like 3 or 4 years in a row.
I guess like that's this we're talking about before times again too. So like things changed for a while too.
I was supposed to go. I was tabling at Emerald City in 2020 with Matt Miner, and I was getting ready to go when everything broke.
Oh wow!
Down, and we got put into lockdown. So, and ever since then, I just haven't. I've tried to get a table at Emerald City twice, and I've got rejected both times. So
really?
I'm kind of giving up on them.
That's lame. That's lame. That that was going around a lot for NYCC this year. All these
well, for me, I live in Missoula, Montana, so it's like an 8-hour drive to Seattle or Portland. So like going to Seattle or going to Rose City or Emerald City is easy. Like I can take the bus, or I can go on a road trip with some buddies, or fly. It's like an hour flight, Yeah. And I have friends in both places I can stay with, so it's not a problem.
Oh, nice.
But just like, I want to be able to table there. So if I'm not, like,
it's like, but it's weird. The whatever criteria these people come up with to like who deserves to get a table and who doesn't. And I don't I don't agree with a lot of it.
I know
but,
people
you know,
because like I've felt shitty about it, and then like I saw friends and peers and other people in the industry who are way bigger names than me get rejected too. I'm
Yeah.
like, damn, what the fuck's going on over there? Like, I thought it was just me because I'm like meddling, you know. Like then I see people who are like way above me in the Starfucker rankings or whatever. You know? like they're getting rejected. I'm like, what the hell's going on in this place? Like,
yeah, like what do you?
This is all like.
Who do you have to be?
Is it all like print stuff, or is it like what's what? It's all podcasters.
Like, yeah, just you have to have like Brian Michael Bendis status or fuck you or something like.
Well, yeah, I don't know. It's not even them. I don't know if the guy like that would table. I don't know. It's just like
yeah.
You see some stuff. It's like someone just makes tchotchkes and they have a table in Artist Alley. It's like I get cool. Like damn, how many tchotchke tables do you need? Like. People making real comics over here,
and it's I feel like your booths would look good, like just like your prints, your art, everything like on display. Like you have a lot of cool, like you'd have like a nice booth that would like lure people in. So it's dumb that I don't. I guess it's easy for me to say things are dumb. I don't know how their thought process goes on these things, but yeah, it sucks when you guys do want to travel and go to these cons and like help you out because you're gonna sell product, you're gonna sell books. It's gonna be good for you and and the exposure and getting to meet your fans and getting to meet like peer or not meet but like hang out with your peers and people that you don't get to see all the time. Like it's just I feel like they should make it easier on you guys to come to these things.
I mean, I think they make it easier for some people for sure.
Oh yeah,
I'm not in that echelon, so.
But it's like you drew the Ninja Turtles, man. Like what do you got to do?
That's one issue.
What do you got to do for these people? No, but you drew the Ninja Turtles.
I applied. I had just drawn an issue of Ninja Turtles when I applied for the table at Emerald City, and I had put that on my credits list. And that still wasn't enough. Turtles don't got use like that anymore, buddy. This is got more than one issue. You got to at least get 5 issues under your belt before you can start using that.
Well, if anyone at IDW is listening, Tony needs another arc of Ninja Turtles. Get him back over there, or Rick and Morty too. That was I would like to see because you only did covers for them. You didn't do interiors, right?
Yeah, I did one cover that came out a couple months ago for the Rick and Morty comic, and then I did 2 variants.
Okay.
One variant and one wraparound that comes out later in the year. So I did a cover for I don't even know if it's announced yet. I'm not going to say it.
Okay.
But it's a cover for a Rick and Morty offshoot comic, like a mini series from a character from Rick and Morty. And then I did a wraparound for the hardcover for a collected edition.
Oh, cool.
Of a double story arc, like 2 story arcs packed into one collected edition. So I did a wraparound hardcover for that comes out. I think might be in the fall or winter. I don't know.
Ooh, I'm gonna have to keep my eye out on
about it. Yeah, I'll post about it when it happens. So
Cole says you did one more issue in Ninja Turtles than Jack Kirby.
Fuck yeah, Cole.
Awesome. That's why we are nominated for an award, ladies and gentlemen. Is that kind of banner? Oh man. Well, Tony, on that note, man, it's we're coming up on 2 hours. I know you probably got stuff to do. Your poor dog probably needs to go outside or be fed or something. But
I'm gonna make some chicken actually.
Nice. But dude, it was so great catching up with you for real, and I'm so happy for you and this new comic and this new crowdfunding endeavor, and I'm glad that it's on Zoop, and I'm glad you're feeling good about it. I'm feeling good about it, and everything I've got to see in regards to Porkchop Robot Killer just looks absolutely killer. And I really do wish you like all the success in the world, dude, because you're great people and you deserve it. And I love your art. You're as talented as fuck, man. I'll die on that hill all day.
I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die on the hill. But I appreciate it, man. That's really kind of you to say.
No problem. Now I know we've kind of talked about you're on Instagram, and I know you're still on X. I hate saying X. You're on X now. Is that like tell us the best places to follow you, keep track of you.
Yeah, on Twitter. That's what we're gonna call it. I'm at Tony Gregori. TonyGregori.
Not a Y, by the way.
Not a Y.
Not a Y.
Yeah, you almost did that to me. What'd you say it was? What'd you call it? It was almost
I said it was almost I almost pulled a big hype because didn't they spell your name wrong in that anthology too?
Yeah. Forgot about the name. But yeah, he almost did a big hype on me. Yeah, so I'm at Tony Gregori, TonyGregori, and then on Instagram I'm Tony Gregori, but Tony is TOEKNEE.
Yeah,
so like
yeah.
Tony. And then I'm on Blue Sky at Tony Gregori. So
yeah,
if you're on,
you are. I
if you're
forgot
on
you're on
Blue
Blue
Sky.
Sky. I tagged you today. I forgot about that. I'm still.
I just hit 1,000 followers on Instagram. I was like,
nice.
It's like, oh, 1,000 followers. I know like a lot of people have way over more than that. But I was just like,
no,
pat on my back.
Instagram is a lot harder to build an audience on, I think, than other platforms. Like it's a slow climb. So that is a cool deal, man. Like congratulations on that. That's more people that get to see your art is the better, right?
Or dogs.
And
you
dogs.
See a picture of a
and
cute
some
dog.
food.
That's what you're gonna get on my Instagram is like art, dog, food.
The best things in the world. Comics, dogs, and foods. Like there's that.
Sometimes I'll take artsy pictures when I'm gonna go out downtown Missoula. You might get some nice black and whites of like the Missoula night, but for the most part.
Yeah. It's worth a follow, ladies. Like go follow him, help him on the road to 2K. Let's get it like help him get there.
Oh, that'd be sick. 2K? Oh,
yeah,
man.
Get there and then the second issue of Porkchop will maybe even go even easier because you'll be Instagram famous or something.
I'll tell you what, if we hit that stretch goal of 5K, that would allow me to put a pause on other stuff and just do the second issue.
Oh, nice.
Finish it right away,
That's the
only thing is like time is money, It's like
unfortunately. So 3,000 is the goal. You're a third of the way there, and you got 29 days left, and 5K is the stretch goal. All right, so everybody go check this out. Again, I will recommend, like, really consider if you got the bones to snag some Tony art, because it looks great. It looks, you frame it, you hang it, people will comment on it, and everybody will think you're way cooler if you have Tony's art in your house. I promise you. It's not just. It worked for me anyway, and that's
look at you. Yeah, I drew that Akira Turtles for you, and then you look at your glow up. You're like,
it's
like winning awards and shit.
Everything's all different,
Everything's coming up, Blake.
Everything's coming up, Tony, too. So I know it's gonna happen. But everybody, like our viewers, like everybody, thank you for tuning in. If people that are watching this later, the link and everything is there on YouTube, so you can click the Zoop campaign, check it out. I really encourage you to do so. It's a really cool project. It's very very close to Tony's heart, and I think the pages reflect that. And there's a great like charm and warmness and vibrance in it, that just some of that magic that's just that he's in passion. It's just there. You can see it in the pages, and really encourage you to check it out. We'll be back tomorrow. I got the Lackadaisy people coming on. I don't know why they're doing my show. They got $1.2 million fucking dollars on backer kit. They're coming on Blake's Buzz. Like they need help, I guess. I don't know. But I'm stoked to talk to them. So we'll be back tomorrow. And then Friday, I'll be on a YouTube channel talking about Cthulhu Invades Neverland. I'm in an anthology. I did my first comic book, and nice. I'll be, I'm first short in an anthology, and I'll be on a show talking about that. I'll post links. If you guys want to come check out that, I'll put all the info up. And
see that?
Your baby. Yeah. Her ears popping up. She's got ears like Bruce. My new dog Bruce. Like he's all fucking ears, man. He's crazy.
Come here.
Yeah, bring her in. There's that good girl. Oh my goodness, those ears. I love them. All right, well, Tony, unless you got anything else left to shout out, I'm gonna play the music and set you free.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on, Blake. I appreciate it.
Dude, anytime. It was great to catch up. I love talking to you, and anything Blake's Buzz can ever do for you, man. I'm here for you. I mean that with all my heart. Everybody, love more, hate less, read comics. We'll be back tomorrow. Have a great night. Thanks again for tuning in, and we will talk to you soon.
Bye.
Buzz Live.